Join me in welcoming Pauline Mathis Renaud. Hey, Pauline, how you doing today?
I'm great. How you doing, Steve?
I am good, thanks. So, first of all, just tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Um, I'm Pauline Mathis Renaud, and I'm publishing my second book today, and I'm really excited about that. And I was married for 25 years. And if you read the book, you'll find out all about me. And I don't want to give it away right now, Steve. I was
Oh,
just going to get
okay.
into it, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'll be giving away some nuggets. I'm going to let you read the book and find out more about me.
So, the book is called No Wasted Rain, and it is very much a story, the chronicle, if you will, of your life. The good, the bad, and unfortunately, there is some ugly in there. Um, I think you did a really good job, actually, of adding grace into some of the situations, but life happens, and it's part of who you are too. So tell us a little bit about why you decided to go ahead and write the book and tell people about what you've been through.
Well, I had a near death experience a little more than 7 years ago. And I had been meditating before I had the near death experience a couple months on my purpose. I knew that I wasn't done with, I had more to give to the world, more to offer. So on meditation, I had a near death experience. And the next day I woke up with write my life story, and that's what I started to do with some encouragement, because it wasn't something that it wasn't a goal that I had in mind for myself 7 years ago when I had the near death experience. It wasn't the um, the way I was going to spend the next 7 years, I thought. So that's how the book came about, that I wrote the book.
So for people that know you and are followers of you, they know that your first book is included actually in this book. We ended up doing, two books in one, if you will, because book one is quite a bit of a cliffhanger. Actually, it's kind of like, but what happened to Pauline? um, and so I think it makes a lot of sense to put the two of them together. Um, Give us just a taste. Don't tease us a little bit. Where did you leave us at the end of book one, and where are we going at the beginning of book two?
In book one, at the very end, I write about my experience that I had with a dear friend of mine, a family member of mine, that she and I had been very close. Our families had been very close for 16 and 17 years. She was closer to me than anyone in my life, other than my husband and children at the time. Um, and I found out, my grandmother always said, what's done in the dark will always come to the light. Sooner or later, it will be exposed. And I always held on to that and truly believed it, but never would I find out that what came to light for me. After about 13 years, I found out that this dear friend of mine, family member, and my husband had had an affair in our home while the children and I slept, which was almost like a movie. I really, even when I think about it now, I'm still surprised and shocked and very disappointed. You see the movies and you all talk about things like that happens. You never think it's going to happen to you, but you realize in life, and that's what my books are about. You know, this book, it's the same name as the first book, No Wasted Rain, because like you had said, it is the first one is included, and then the second one follow up, and it tells how I reacted and what happened as a result of finding out that my husband and best friend, family member, had slept together in my home while the children and I slept. And they carried on their affair about 3.5 years after it was over without my knowledge. And it just goes on to tell um, some growing pains that I went through quite a bit, things that I never expected. You know, I always looked in the future and tried to see what was coming. I wanted to be prepared because of my childhood. I didn't have any control of what happened. So I always thought that I would have more control in my adulthood. And then I found out that a lot of things you just don't have control. Life happens, and that's the rain. And the rain happens for a reason, and that's what I had to look at. And was the rain in my life. Things that disappointed me, that hurt me, that made me grow.
So we pick up in book two. And book two is kind of the now that I've dropped the bottom out of your world, let's let you know that life does get okay. Again, give us just a little taste of some of the cool stuff that's now happening in your life since that horrible time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that happened in my life that I always took on when I found out, you're in a daze. It's like to say that the rug was snatched from underneath me is you can't really even put it into words. Um, that is how I describe it with lack of words to really, put that, to put it into words. Um, but I learned a lot about myself. I learned about a lot about who I am. I had to go back to some things that actually I had forgot about me. In life, when you get married and you have children and you're busy, there's things about yourself that you lose. You push back or you push away. Um, that came back up for me that I found out with everything that went through about who I am, the grit. I took the motto. Um, Donald Trump's first wife is living well is the best revenge. And believe me, when I found out what had happened in my own home, I think I lived very well after that. There's things that I never do again. I had some plastic surgery. I just threw caution to the wind. I was always so cautious before because I couldn't afford. I always felt that I didn't have anyone in the world to fall back on. So I had to be very careful, try not to make mistakes. And I realized that no matter what you do, things are always going to happen out of your control. So be who you are. And that's who I try to live my authentic self now of who I am.
Well, to that end, um, because I know you are pretty candid about the fact that you a lot of times didn't live who you are or your best version of yourself. What happens to us when we're not really true to ourselves like that?
We forget, number one, we forget about who we really are, dreams that we want in life. We put them off, we push them down. And it's a struggle to really, it's something that you have to work on constantly. I should say that I have to work on with writing the book. It taught me so much about myself, things that I didn't even really realize, because I wanted to be very fair to everyone in the book that I wrote about. So some people that has read the book think that I, like you said, gave grace. Well, I want grace to be given to me also in this life. So, I learned a lot about myself, and I grew a lot. A lot of things I hadn't realized or accepted about myself, even that I didn't even know. That I stopped with writing the book and I thought about what made me make that decision. How did that affect me, and why did I make that decision? And it was very interesting. I learned a lot, and between book one and book two, to write your life story and to have it published is is a big deal, especially when you write. My book is very honest. Everything in my book is true, and it wasn't easy to do. It wasn't easy to write. To me, I find that's one of the most difficult things that people do in life is not to be true to who you really are. We always say we're going to be true to ourselves, but a lot of times we're really not because we never take the time to stop and really assess our life, the decisions that we've made in our life, and be honest. Why did we make those decisions? Even decisions you're not proud of, that you would change if you could go back. But I have learned, and I wouldn't change, I don't think I would change anything.
And that's a good place to be. So, book two is titled Butterfly Rain. Um, can you explain to us what does the concept, what does butterfly rain mean to you?
You know, when you transform into a butterfly, you're free. You have transformed and feeling light. There was things in my life that held me down, that I let hold me down. Now I feel light. You know, there was some things as I was going through the experiences that I wrote about in my book. A couple of them in particular, I can remember the moment that they happened. Sometimes we have people, my ex-husband always had some things that we discussed that I always would make a decision on based on his reaction. And in the course of finding out what happened with him and the family member, I was true to who I was. And I remember the moment that happened. That was one of the most freest moments. You're talking about butterflies. I was light as a butterfly could ever be. I remember it was amazing. That was a wonderful feeling.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, somebody listening today might be really going through, that hard rain, not the, it's really nice and sunny outside, but, the rain's falling, you kind of enjoy it, but that really rough rain. For somebody that's going through that, what words of encouragement would you have for them?
Remember one thing, that nothing will happen in your life. God will not let you have any experience. If you believe in God, the universe, that you cannot handle. Feel confident that whatever rain you're going through, you're supposed to be going through it. Hold on to the rain. Love the rain. If you can, thank the rain. At that moment, thank the rain. And know in your heart that one day when you look back, you will truly thank the rain because you will grow. It is there to teach you things. It is there for you to grow, to become who you really truly are. I think in life, before we come here, we have a soul assignment, an assignment on our life. That rain, mine happened. One of the things is in my childhood, my relationship, the prejudice that I felt from my grandmother in my own home. I grew up with prejudice, and that I used that rain my whole life, even without realizing it. And if you're going through rain right now, feel confident that God did not let that rain happen to you. There's reasons. Write down those reasons. Ask and think about it. What am I to learn out of this rain? How am I to grow? And it's always to help someone else other than yourself. That's what people don't understand. Cry for yourself. Please cry for yourself, but cry for everyone else also. Know that that rain is for you to help someone outside of you, because by doing that, you truly help yourself. I've had plenty of conversations in my life without even realizing it. I can go someplace and people come up and just start talking to me about their childhood, about things that's happened to them in their life. And for some reason, with talking to that person and letting them know, did you think about, like me, I had to think about the experiences my grandmother had. My grandmother was born in 1902. When you think about it, ooh, she would be 120 years old um, today. The experience that that woman had, when I thought about that, that made me love her, give her grace. Whatever you're going through now, the person you reign, just try to see where can you give grace to those people, to the situation that you're going through.
Mm, I love that so much. The book is called No Wasted Rain. It's by Pauline Mathis Renaud. You can actually get it for free today on Amazon. The ebook, get it. It's available all around the entirety of the world. Very good book and really something exciting that you need to get today. Pauline, thanks so much for spending some time with me here on the show today.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks, everyone. Bless you. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed the book.